Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of Damn Shard Fishing, and today we're in the garage. We're going to be working on pimping out the boat again. I'm actually going to be changing out all of the decals that are on my outboard. So the old red Merc decals, we're going to be replacing it with some nice new blue ones. So you might find that the decals that are on your boat are going to start peeling after a number of years, or maybe you just want to change them out like I'm going to with something that closely matches the color of your boat. I'm actually both. I wanted to have blue decals, but also my decals are peeling off. The old owner of this boat used to keep it stored outside, and actually the other side of the boat, the decals are toast on it just because that was the side that got the most sun. So I want to change out all these decals. So I got these high quality decals. These are actually made in the USA from AMR Racing. So you can go and check them out. Just look up AMR Racing. I'll put a link in the description below. So they worked with me to make sure that I had the right size decals because their standard 50 horsepower Merc decals didn't quite fit. So we actually worked to resize them. They're not a perfect match, but they'll definitely work for the boat. So these are going to be applied using the wet method. So where we're going to use water and a little bit of soapy water and a squeegee to apply them. And I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Okay, so we're going to start off with removing the decals. But first, let me just show you kind of what the drying out decals look like. All right, come to me. So you can see on this one here, all of the decals are coming off. They're kind of peeling like this. Now, it's not as bad. It's a little rough all here. And pretty much the entire line of this is starting to come detached, especially on the bottom. It's not as bad. Now, this side of the motor, I already took everything off just to check it, but this was really, really bad. This was completely peeling off, and it actually damaged the clear coat. So I wanted to mess with this before I made the video just because I didn't want to screw anything up, but definitely some issues with this paint. But we'll go real delicate on this side, and I'll basically show you how it's done, all right? So let's start off by taking off the old decals. All right, so first things first, we're gonna use the heat gun on the lightest setting possible. You don't wanna burn the plastic or discolor the plastic if it's not black. We don't wanna mess this up. We just wanna heat it enough to get the decal off without damaging the paint. So very, very low setting, and we'll work it very slowly. There's no need to rush. Take your time, heat it up nice and even, and the decal will just peel right off. And you'll know when it's ready. If you're grabbing at it and it's splitting, because old decals, they tend to split. If it's splitting and it hasn't become soft, it's not hot enough yet. See, now it's getting soft. Look at that. There you go. There, look at it. It's just peeling right off. Nice and clean. There you go. Boom, that's it. It's done. Now, you see there's a little bit of residue here. Don't worry about that. We're going to get that residue off. Now let's get on to the side parts. This one here, we're going to do it in several sections. I'm going to start off on this end, and then we'll slowly warm up that way. Now, don't worry too much if it's leaving behind residue. So in this case, mine's leaving behind some residue. That's okay. You can see it's leaving some rubbery residue right here. That'll all come off after. Sometimes it'll come off clean, sometimes no. So you can see here it's leaving some residue behind. That's okay, we'll get all that off. All right, now we're just gonna do the stripe. And just to make it a little easier, I'll reposition this a little bit. All right, let's get this decal off of here. I would have kept this decal on here, but the other side was all messed up, and the new ones, the decals are bigger, so I need to take this off and put the new ones on. All right, let's see if this is ready. Go. All right, so that's done, but now we got this gooey mess on this side. Actually, the other side didn't even really do this, so we still got a lot of goop on here. So I'm gonna use a product called Gooby Gone. It's like an oily kind of substance. It actually smells kind of like WD-40. I'll put a link to the description below, but it's made specifically for taking off this kind of gum stuff, the residue from, you know, labels and things like that. That's what's gonna take all this off. So we're gonna just slowly work all this and get all the residue of the glue completely off the outboard, okay? So let's get this cowl cleaned up, and after that, we'll do a quick little buff and move on to the next steps. Now, full disclosure, guys, this can be a very long process. It can be super annoying to do. So just take your time and it'll come off. Just soak all of the glue in the Gooby Gone, let it penetrate through the goop, and eventually it'll start just breaking down, and you'll see it'll start just coming right off. And like I said, if you don't have any of this stuff, you can use WD-40. Just make sure you have a good degreaser afterwards, or a soap, because you're gonna need to take all this goop off after. You're gonna need to get this oil off of here for when we go to put the decals on. If you can figure out a way to scrape the glue off, you can go at it that way as well, but I just make sure I get it all soaked. Take my time, and then I'll start scrubbing at it. Might have to get your fingernails involved in here too, see? You can use a fingernail, it comes off. I'm not sure if a plastic scraper would do it too, but you can see now it's starting to break down. It's just turned into little chunks of old glue. Take your time, it'll come off. I did bring a small little scraper here like this. This is actually used for putting wallpaper up. I wanted to see if this would work, but I honestly just find it works better with my fingernails, and I feel like I got less chance of scraping this up. But you can use this too. Already I've got all of this done. It's coming off really easy now. It's broken right down. Okay guys, so I've got all of that junk off. All the glue's gone, so now I'm just gonna use a 50% water, 50% rubbing alcohol solution. And I'm just gonna clean all that grease off of here. Use a good degreaser, whatever you got. I just don't happen to have one handy, so I'm gonna use some alcohol. And that'll still get all that grease off of here. Super important by the time we go put those decals on that you give this thing a good wash and make sure there's no grease on here, or else you're not gonna like what's gonna happen. There we go. Okay, so now we have some faint outlines from the old decal. I don't know if this is dried baked on glue or what this is, so I'm gonna use a cleaning wax to get this off of here. And if a cleaning wax won't take it off, I will gently, very gently use a rubbing compound. So let's get the cleaning wax, see if I can get this off of here. So the outline from 4-stroke is now pretty much totally gone. So we're getting there. I'm actually using a little bit of cleaner wax. This is RV and boat cleaner wax. I'm using this to try to scrape up at the lines, and it seems to be doing a decent job. And hey, maybe you guys got lucky when you took your decals off, you didn't have this problem. But if you did, like I said, it's just, you're gonna have to get your elbow grease going here. You can't go at it too much with the rubbing compound, because if you keep rubbing at it with the compound, you'll go right through the clear coat, and then you've done permanent damage. So ideally, you want to directly get these lines off, and then it's okay if you scrape it with a fingernail if you make little swirls, because then you can do an easy shot with the rubbing compound and take the swirls out. Just don't go and start using a razor blade on it, and you'll be all right. One little trick I'm doing is I've got a plastic scraper like this, and with the plastic scraper I'm just putting it in a microfiber and putting some of the cleaning wax on there, the cleaner wax, and scraping it. It's coming off. Because it was either this or I have a psychotic episode. Again, I'm not too worried about micro scratches in the paint because I'm gonna get that out with the compound after. So I'm not too worried about that. This is definitely working, and it's definitely getting warm in this garage. Okay, so we've cleaned up all the lines. Now I'm just gonna give it one shot with the compound all over. I mean, you can literally just do your entire cowl if you want. This will get it nice and shiny again. All right, polish it up, get the residue off. And she should be shining like a mirror. Oh yeah, that looks real good. And once we're done with the decals, we'll apply a protectant. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Now I'm gonna have to do the whole motor. Looks so good. Okay guys, it's warm. Let's have a look and see what this turned out like after we're done the full compound. Well, how's that for a mirror? So I mean, that's literally a mirror. So we got all the marks off and the front too. So we're gonna keep these decals on because they're in perfect shape. But I mean, you can see it's like a mirror. What's up guys? And here's the back, also like a mirror. So now I do have to deal with this side. So I gotta deal with this side here. I'm gonna do the best I can, but like I said on this guy, you can see the two lines that are here? So this line here is actually clear coat damage. So I can't really screw around too much with this or I'm gonna just further damage the clear coat. So we'll clean this up as best I can and then we'll move on to decals. So let's, time for round two and then we'll do decals. Okay, so the compound is done. I've got the whole thing shining like a mirror. I went very carefully on the other side where there is some paint damage, not to make it worse. Remember, you want to minimize compounding anything that's got clear coat problems because you could just excavate the issue and make it a disaster. So don't go crazy, just enough to get the residue off. Degrease, okay, so I've washed it and cleaned it, dried it, and now I'm just gonna spray everything with my 50-50 solution of rubbing alcohol and water with a brand new clean towel, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean everywhere that I'm gonna be applying the decals, okay, to make sure we get that maximum adhesion. So let's get this tidied up and we'll start putting on some decals. When you're doing this, make sure you're using a lint-free microfiber. You do not want lint and hair and all kinds of other stuff getting caught underneath your decals. All right, we're all set for decals. Now guys, if you are enjoying this video, if you're getting something out of it, if you're learning something, please make sure you hit that like button before we go any further. I had to take 2 seconds, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Okay, you've hit the like button, you're subscribed, you've hit the bell. Let's keep going. Okay guys, we're gonna keep things pretty simple. We're gonna start with the 50 horsepower logo right here. We're gonna get some lukewarm water with just a few drops of dish soap in here. And I've got a squeegee for applying decals. It's basically a plastic squeegee with a bit of felt on it, but you don't have to be this fancy. You can use a microfiber cloth with over a credit card. It'll do the same thing, and that's what we're gonna use to push the water out. And again, this is a wet application, so we're gonna peel off the backing, we're gonna spray here, and we're gonna spray the back of the decal and apply it. Make sure we're nice and clean. Now we can just get the backing off, we'll be all set. What I don't want to do is tear the decal. And there's no rush, guys. You got lots of time to work it. That's why we wet the whole thing. So don't be in a rush. There's our decal. Go ahead and wet it. Now we're going to place it. And if you don't like where it is, you can lift it off, put it back. I'm just trying to get it sort of centered where I want it. There we go. This is a pretty easy one. You're going to get all the air bubbles out. Just like that. And if you have any troubles getting decals around curves or anything like that, you just use a hair dryer. And with the hair dryer, you can use that to manipulate it around curves and anything that's not really working out for you. But we'll get all the bubbles out of here. Just put this here so I can see if it's straight. Ah, that's great. That looks perfect. Just making sure I get all the bubbles out of here. It's looking good, guys. Looking good. All right, there's one. Boom. One down. That looks awesome. All right. That looks great. There you go, guys. Fitty. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We'll do a big decal now. I'm gonna have to customize it a bit though. By the way, guys, one little trick, if you wanna make sure that all your decals are lined up, you can just use a little bit of tape, painter's tape, to hold it in place, and then do it on both sides, make sure that everything lines up, and then do one side at a time, unstick it, and go ahead and put it on. So that's it. So I got my tape on, I've got both taped up, so I'm ready to go. I'm gonna apply one of the big ones. I'm a little nervous. We'll see how this goes. Okay, guys, here we go. Moment of truth. So, I'm gonna go ahead and lift this up, like so. Going to carefully peel this off. Okay. Okay, be careful. All right, got that done. Now we're going to spray everything down here. Spray this, and then we're going to spray the decal. And meanwhile, the tape is holding it all in place for us. There we go. And we'll just go ahead and lay it down. There we go. That's it. Make sure this lines up the way we want. There we go. All right. Got that all laid down. Let's start squeegeeing. So we're going to get all the water out of here. Now again, right here, we've got a curved part that we're doing right here. If you're having any issues with this, heat it up. You know, with a blow dryer, don't use your heat gun. Use a blow dryer just a little bit, and it'll help it adhere into the curve. But on the other side, I didn't have any problems. I did have to work it quite a bit, but we eventually got it. All right, that's not going anywhere. Let's take this off. Go. All right, so my curved area is laying down perfectly flat now. Now I'm just working on getting any extra water out from underneath. There we go. This is looking good, guys. And let's make sure all this is good. Okay, so we've got this all laid out. I've got the water out. I've got no bubbles. We're gonna double check it. And sometimes you can use another light like this. And we can double check for any bubbles. But this looks really good. 50 looks good. Let me see. No, that's just, oh, there's a little bubble right there. Okay, we got our main decals on. Everything's kind of wet right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually activate the glue. And the way to do that is with a hair dryer and just gently heat it up with the hair dryer, and that will activate the glue and ensure that it sticks, you know, as best as possible. So we're not gonna use a heat gun. Do not use your heat gun. You're gonna destroy your decals. We're gonna use the hair dryer. I've got a little one just for this. There you go, guys, coming along nice. Now we're gonna put some finishing touches. Again, I'll link you guys to the AMR Racing website where I bought these decals, but the decal kit actually comes with a ton of extra decals. Look at all this. So we'll go ahead and add some finishing touches on here and finish this up. I'm very lightly just cleaning up the paint and slightly on the decals, but you don't want to go and rub the decals, because if you do, you're going to hit all the little corners and edges and you risk peeling it off. But it is giving me a chance to see if I've got any little bubbles here, but don't go and start like trying to buff your decals or you're going to mess something up. There we go. Because you're going to get caught on all the little corners before it's had a chance to dry, and you don't want to do that. All right, guys, let's have a look. Here we go. I know there's a lot of bright lights going on, but here's our finished product. See, it looks really good. Very nice. There's the front. Looking good. And yes, my boat's a mess. Focus on the job, not the boat. There we go. There's the other side. Got the 4-stroke down there as well. Nice. Wow, guys, I'm so happy with this. Bear in mind, this motor is a 2006, so it's not young. And I mean, it looks brand new right now. Very happy with that. All right, guys, we are just about done. We went from crusty, old, nasty red decals, oops, to a beautiful blue that matches the boat. You guys know I've been trying to do like the blue theme on my boat. I've got the blue carpeting, I've got the blue steering wheel, and now we got the blue motor cowl here going. Super happy with this. But one tip before we go, guys, make sure that when you want to wax this up, you want to get it all nice and shiny, you're going to wax the paint on the cowl. Don't use wax on decals, okay? Vinyl decals that are not protected by a clear coat, you should never be using a wax product, because wax actually has a petroleum-based ingredient, and I think it's petroleum-based, that actually eats away at the vinyl, okay? It'll age it quicker, it'll fade the colors, so do not put wax on your vinyl decals. You want to use a vinyl and rubber protectant. So I use this guy here. This is the rubber and vinyl protectant from Meguiar's. So this is good for RV and boats. I love it. I use this all over my boat. I use it on the console, the seats, anything that's plastic, rubber, vinyl, whatever, I use this. I also use it on the decals. And I even used to use this on the decals on my RV. I used to have a camping trailer with huge decals on it. I used to coat them once in the spring, once in the fall with this. So phenomenal product, I love it. This is what I use on everything. All right, so that's it. So guys, that is today's video. I hope you found this super useful. You saw how easy this is, okay? Don't be scared to do this. I personally don't like paint, and I don't like messing around with decals. I just feel like I screw it up too easily. I don't know what the deal is. I'm scared of doing it. But as you guys saw, I mean, it looks great. Very, very easy to do. And if you screw it up, you just peel it off, spray it back on, put it back on. No harm, no foul. So don't be shy, guys. Give this a try. It's super easy. You can add decals to your boat this way. You know, whatever. Very, very easy. And minimal tools, a credit card, a squeegee, a bottle of water, a little bit of dish soap, and buy your decals and you're off to the races, okay guys? So hope you found this useful. There will be links in the description below for everything we did. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace!